Good morning and welcome to the morning break. It is Tuesday. How was your Monday? How was your Monday after we left with each other 11 a.m. yesterday when we were done? How was the rest of your Monday? Was it a good Monday? I had a great Monday. I had one of those days where you just go, "Ooh, this is just a good day. Nothing great happened. Like there's nothing that you're gonna have like a cornerstone moment out of yesterday, but it's just like one of those good days. Like one of the things I've been really thinking about a lot is being thankful for even the small things that are going on. And so I had to adjust my collar there. Felt like it was just not right. But no, a lot of interesting things going on. I had a great stories. We talked, of course, like yesterday a little bit about March Madness. Had Molly on with our Mondays with Molly and did motivation. It was just a great day. Listen, thank you so much. I realize how much your schedule is busy. I realize how many interesting things are going on in your life, and you're probably working, and yet you're taking time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us in the morning break. Of course, live across the Abundant Television Network. And by the way, and I got to do this because it's kind of cool. So yesterday, you can contact us through the app. So yesterday, had a gentleman from England that he watches the morning break. He also reminded me that it's not morning where he is when the morning break happens, but we appreciate you. Thanks for watching. He said, I enjoy your humor. Thank you. Because, like, I don't even think my wife enjoys it. So I appreciate that you enjoy my humor. And we were talking a couple weeks ago about travel, and it is getting to be that time of year where you start planning your family vacations and all of that kind of stuff going on. New study out, actually just out this last week, that more people this year for their family vacation are going to drive rather than fly, which I found to be kind of interesting. Was not what I was expecting. So most people driving for their family vacation this year. And the other interesting part about this is something that is so funny because it's true in my own relationship with my wife, is that only about 35% of the people that were surveyed about traveling said that they would allow people to eat in their car on long road trips. So funny story. First time I went on a date with my wife, she picked me up actually at the airport in her brand new truck. At the time it was brand new, about 3 trucks ago now for us. But she frowned upon me eating in the car, though I was starving and had flown basically all over the planet to get to her because of bad weather. Yeah, she didn't want me to eat in the car. She did finally recant and let me eat in the vehicle with about 100 napkins around me. Like I was going to spill on myself. But maybe that was foreshadowing. Who knows? Maybe she knew that every once in a while I do spill on myself. It is great to have you here Tuesday morning. We got a great guest today coming up, but one thing I want to talk about, and we talk about every morning, and that is great coffee, since this is probably about the time of day where you're going to take a coffee break. Let me encourage you. Great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. That's 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you check out. Now, listen, you've heard me talk about it. Crazy thing is now we're almost up to 6 months of doing the show. So you've heard me talk about it a lot here on the morning break. I love their coffee. If you have never had a small batch roasted coffee, now my recommendation, and I'm kind of biased, I like good whole beans because I like to feel like in the morning I'm accomplishing something. Okay. So that's what I do. I get the whole beans and grind them, but you can also get them in the ground or in K cups, which I find very interesting. Now, have you ever done this? And I did this for a little bit. Is I got one of those filters for my K cup, and I was putting my own coffee in because I mean, got to be honest with you, Keurig and K cup coffee does not taste nearly as good as real coffee. But let me encourage you, whether you get the K cups, the ground, or the whole bean, you need to head over to the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. Now, the owners emailed me and they said, Rob, listen, we've got a great special. You can't talk about it on the air, which is tough for me because I like to talk about stuff like that. But if you head to the website, 7weekscoffee.com, they've got extra bonus stuff, all kinds of cool things. I can't talk about it on the air. I would love to. But remember to use the promo code ATV10 to get 10% off your order, which in and of itself is worth it. Great coffee supports a great cause, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Hey, listen, if you've got a question, an idea, or anything like that, always hit us up on the app. It's super easy. If you're plugged into our app right now, you can answer. It's up in the connect section. Connect with us. We'd love to hear from you. It is so important that we interact. And like I said, gentlemen from England writing me and saying he liked my sense of humor, and of course reminding me that it wasn't morning when he watched, unless, see, he could watch in the morning if he watched us on demand. See, there you go. Got a great guest coming up. We'll do that after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Great, folks. 7 Weeks Coffee. That's 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10. Listen, we normally have the My-Snackies look-in cam. Our look-in cam was down. Got to be honest with you. Something happened right as I was getting ready to throw to the look-in cam. It went, no, don't want to work today. That's fine. But hey, listen, with March Madness round is here and the Final Four around the corner. And of course, you're going to celebrate with great snacks. Get your freeze-dried snacks from My-Snackies.com. And I'm super excited. This is a lady I've known, and I actually got to interview her for another show that I used to do here on the network. And she's so fun and just great to be around and has so many cool things going on in the heartbeat of the nation in Washington, D.C. Kimberly Genau is with us. Kimberly, it is good to have you here on this Tuesday morning, which I don't know how DC is, but here in Ohio, it is a brisk Tuesday morning. It is like 34 degrees.
Right. Yeah, we fluctuated between the weather. Just a few days ago, it felt like summer. It was amazing. And then today, you better have your parka. So I mean, spring is here. The flowers are out, forsythias and daffodils, but they want to fool you every now and again.
It's we call it fake spring in
Right.
Ohio. It isn't really spring yet. It's fake spring. And Kimberly, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about Alabaster House, the organization that you run with your husband. Tell everybody about it. It is super cool.
Thank you so much. It's amazing to be here with you, Rob. Appreciate you so much. Alabaster House is a nonprofit, and we serve as a spiritual resource to elected leaders and their families. And so there's just so much going on behind the scenes through confidential prayer, biblical devotions, and friendship. Those are our three main pillars. And then, of course, we also have an executive leadership development that we've done now. This is in our third year, and we're very excited about it. As you know, we have our upcoming leadership summit May 19th and 20th. So a little bit about what we're doing in Washington, D.C., helping those leaders and equipping them.
And tell everybody a little bit, because May is a great time to go to DC. And so tell everybody a little bit about the Leader Summit coming up, what they can expect, and what kind of leaders should plug into this.
This is amazing. So the timing of this is pretty unique. We're looking at May 19th, which is a Tuesday evening, and then the Wednesday is the 20th. What's interesting is that, and actually, President Trump is going to rededicate America as one nation under God on Sunday, the 17th. So you may not have heard that. So there'll be thousands of people coming to Washington, D.C. just for that event alone. And so we're encouraging folks to not only go to that, but to stay and then participate in our leadership summit on the 19th and 20th. So we really want to commemorate the 250th anniversary. And so we'll be kicking off fairly strong there with a veterans panel. So we'll have 2 Purple Heart recipients on that panel, a number of other esteemed military veterans. And so we really want to honor those that have served, right? We can't have 250th if we don't honor our military. So that's going to be exciting. And we also have Reverend Lee, all the way from South Korea, coming in. And so that's going to be just incredible. I think the leadership components overall that people are going to learn, what we're really talking about is leading in times of crisis. So as a participant, you're going to not only get a chance to meet with key leaders like NFL players as well. So you'll get that perseverance angle of leadership, overcoming obstacles. And then on the second day, we'll be right there on Capitol Hill. So we'll have some very unique roundtables there called Capitol Roundtables with members of Congress, not having them speak from a podium or a lectern, but they're actually going to sit at the table with us, which is very strategic. And what a privilege to be able to hear from them to equip us what might be happening maybe economically, legislatively, or culturally that we can learn as leaders. So it's going to be a fantastic equipping time.
That is so cool. So you're telling me that if I come to this event and I go to the event where I sit at I could sit at a table with somebody that is making the great decisions for our country right now.
100%. Yeah, this is what is so unique about our summit is, and it's, we just really trust the Lord in all of those things because we know it is, between votes, committee hearings, and a number of things that are happening all in the middle of the workday, right? You're talking about this show being in the middle of the workday. It's exactly like this, where members are coming and going, and yet they still, find the time to drop in with us and really give some meaningful dialogue with our participants. So very exciting.
So here's the thing. So I think it's a leadership event, but they should bring their wife too. I think it should be not just if it's, or maybe the wife's the leader. That happens in my family.
Sure.
Um, but that I think is important, is to both of you experience something like this.
Yeah, we will have some of the congressional spouses there as well, and we have had them also over the years, and that is a completely different dynamic because most of the time, if it's a just stereotypically, if it is a male member of Congress, they're usually apt to say that everything is going fine, they've got it all under control, and and then you hear from the congressional spouse, and they're like, "Pray for us," you know, a little more like real. But I will preface that by saying many of the members that have come to this before, members of Congress, have had notes that they want to work from and things that they want to communicate. And we've actually watched them fold those up, put them in their jacket pocket, and really share from the heart. So it is just a real privilege in that sense that we're going to be equipped in a number of ways. Secondly, the main thing also that we're launching at this third annual leadership summit is something called executive roundtables. So we're going to have a whole opportunity there from any like multi-topic roundtables. So it could be anywhere from veterans affairs, small business, AI and technology, commerce and trade. There's just youth in the next generation, women's empowerment, Israel. There's so many to choose from on that. So what will happen on those is you'll also have an opportunity to be really a great participant. So if your heart is really stirred in one of those areas, not only could you be equipped, but you might also be a voice that speaks into that roundtable to really equip others.
Okay, so now tell me a little bit more, because I want some depth on this, because now you got me interested, because I love stuff like this where it's hands-on. So you're saying there's gonna be like a small business track? Or is that kind of
Mhm.
what, so I understand, because I'm not, yeah, I want everybody to understand. I think I get it, but I'm not sure. So you have like a small business track. You're going to do stuff about Israel. Kind of give us a little depth there.
Yeah, we'll also have pastors and ministry leaders roundtable. I was thinking about this as well, and so some of these will be, led by folks that are actually. I'll just give an example: pastors and ministry leaders. So that would be led by someone who has a more outward, I would say, apostolic kingdom mentality. So we're trying to equip pastors to engage on a national level. It's amazing so many of the pastors' programs that they're doing internally, but what we want to do is equip them externally and national. So that would be an emphasis there of how they can plug in, perhaps pray for their member of Congress, find out what activities and things that are going on that might impact them as leaders. And I think also just across the board, what you're going to find is these are opportunities not only for us to learn, to get equipped in that specific roundtable, but again, someone that might be a participant that wants to share that has some knowledge in that. So we really want to bring in those like-minded folks. So if it's AI and technology, we have a guy who's going to be sharing with that and talking about how you can utilize those practices within your business. So it's not necessarily a Christian conference. It's really business, government administration. You're looking at executives, Democrats, Republicans, military. There's just an incredible, I want to say, an eclectic mix of people, and I really love that.
I do too. I love that idea. I love what you're doing. And I think it's so important is we especially as Christians who are headed towards the midterms. Midterms are just about here now. And I'm sure that being in DC, you hear probably every day more than us outside of the belt. But this is an important time for Christian pastors, and what a great event to come to and to be equipped in the things that you and I have just been talking about. Like, hey, listen, how do I get to be more proactive in not and sometimes people go, oh, well, I don't, it nationally feels overwhelming. But a lot of times, if you just got in contact with your reps from your area and
Mhm.
the impact you could make as a Christian inside of those, whoever you have in Congress and Senate, that's important.
Yeah, I want to share, we also pray for the individuals, the members of Congress that come and participate. And so we actually have facilitators that will help guide and lead that roundtable and then also pray for that member. So we want them to leave more, the members of Congress, we want them to leave more equipped and better off than when they first arrived. So that is really our heart in stewarding the ministry of Alabaster House. So, this is a mixture, if you will, of business, government, ministry. We're still emphasizing the importance of praying for our leaders and standing with them in this time.
So Kimberly, I want because maybe it was about 2 years ago that we did an interview together. So it's been a while, been a minute for people that probably watch on Abundant TV.
Yeah.
I want you to tell a little bit about how you got involved moving to Washington, DC, and how you and your husband started the ministry.
Yeah. Well, I moved through the womb since I was born in DC. So I love
Were
this.
you? Oh,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, so my dad was a former Washington Redskin. He'll actually be part of our panel. He played for the San Francisco 49ers and then was traded to the Washington Redskins. So we just heard about the death of Sonny Jorgensen recently. So that was actually my dad's quarterback. He was defensive end. So in that era, but so that was the old RFK Stadium that he played in, and my sister and I were born in Washington D.C. So that was the origin story.
Oh,
And
and
then,
no, hold on, because I'm a sports junkie. So does your dad have a lot of like his old NFL stuff then around the house?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Totally.
And one of the things, I'm just going to throw this out there, but one of the things we're going to do is, we have a silent auction. And so we have sponsorship. So some of you that are listening today, those sports junkies might want to sponsor the NFL panel, or they might want to sponsor the veterans panel. Military might move their heart. So we have a whole number of opportunities for branding, and also, collaboration. So alabasterhouse.org, you can click on the tab for Leadership Summit and just scroll down and check out those sponsorships. Great and fun opportunity. But the one I wanted to mention is we're also going to have a silent auction. We'll have like, various golf packages at country clubs. And we're working on now having some of those NFL players accompany those foursomes. So that'll be something you might want to bid on, Rob.
Oh, that would be so cool. Yes.
Like
Oh, I
like
love
a
golf.
day for
So
golf.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm
So that'll be
totally a
fun.
golf guy. So yes,
Yeah.
I could. Oh,
Yeah, that'll be fun. And, those that sponsor also have opportunity for, photo ops and, signatures, all that. So you're talking about some memorabilia opportunities there. So yeah, we're gonna absolutely have some of those. So it'll be exciting. But so how we started Alabaster House, I was actually hired in the late 1990s by a prominent evangelical minister, and he started really an outreach there on Capitol Hill. And so I was hired on as one of the first Capitol Hill liaisons. That's actually Dr. D. James Kennedy. And so I came up there and just started leading Bible studies, on the Senate and the House of Representatives. And, they asked me, Kimberly, what do you feel, how are you going to reach Capitol Hill? And I thought, oh my goodness, there's, at the time we're 22,000 staffers. There's still 535 members of Congress and their families, and I thought, that's a great question. I'm going to go home and pray about it, and I'll let you know what I get. So, yeah, it really came in the form of the teas and the coffees that we hosted. It was an evangelistic opportunity for those. I started with the female members of Congress and also the spouses that knew the Lord, and just inviting our Bible studies in. And literally, we were actually presenting the gospel in over China, like in the Capitol, in these beautiful building, and people were responding to the gospel. And that's really how I first got started working on Capitol Hill. And then later, of course, founding Alabaster House, having my two girls, and just seeing the Lord work in the lives of these leaders. So I'm entering my 28th year of serving as a spiritual resource to elected leaders and their families.
that is awesome. That is so. And I think this is something that I've been doing a study on personally. And I think the one-on-one, and I love church. I'm a pastor's kid, so I grew up around church. But I have found that the one-on-one interactions, like you talked about, like teas, like, and I'm not just saying one person, but like a small group of people, is so impactful for faith. And I think we forget, and I love what you said, because there are the wives and also the congressmen, the senators who have faith, but are really, we don't think of them that way. We think of them as leaders here, but they have a need for spiritual things, and their schedule is so crazy that I'm sure they feel completely worn out and completely just beaten up by the end of a day.
Yeah, that's exactly why Alabaster House is there, is to help them. I want to say just a simple statement that rings so true, which is we believe that a healthy faith and a healthy family will produce healthy decisions on behalf of our nation, which impacts each and every one of us. So the ministry of Alabaster House is really vital to help them in their walk, their personal journey with the Lord, and then also their families, because we know if they can't hold their families together, they certainly can't do what the constituents actually sent them there to do. You're just really sink or swim. And so it's an opportunity to have them strengthen their faith and their family. And then as a result, you'll see those healthy decisions that, again, impact each and every one of us. So it's
Oh, I love
important.
that. Give that one more time, because I love that. That just rang like in my spirit. So hit it one more time, because there are people that need to hear that.
Yeah,
What?
no, it's so critical. It's that we believe that a healthy faith and a healthy family will produce healthy decisions on behalf of our nation, which impact each and every one of us, right? So people want to know, how does this affect me, right? And what we're talking about is, as we're meeting with members of Congress and their families, we're praying for them, we're doing receptions, retreats, we're connecting, they're participating in the leadership summits, we're sewing into them, we're doing go mission trips. I mean, gosh, people could come and do a mission trips right here in Washington, D.C., simply by going to our website and connecting with me and signing up saying, I'm interested. Our church is interested. We want to pray for our leaders. We want to make an impact and investment. So there's so many ways that people can get involved. And so I think that's what we're really trying to answer is, how does this impact people in an everyday level? Why is Alabaster House important, and how should I get involved? Right. And I think what we're answering here is that as we see the health of those leaders, you're going to see the health of the nation. And so that's really what we're after in the long run. So we would encourage you to partner with us, on our website. We have an opportunity there. You can support us monthly. We have a fabulous worship artist, and we give away actually her CD to anyone that signs up as a monthly partner. And
Oh, very cool.
yeah, she wrote some of the very early songs. And we talked about kind of this coffee idea, but the coffee began when there was opposition and people were going up against one another. And I thought, God, what can we do to change the spiritual atmosphere here, on Capitol Hill? And we brought together people not only who were whose spouses were running for competing offices, and they were dropping press releases, and these were believers going up against believers. So it was even more, I think, contentious, right? So we were able to bring the folks together and restore those relationships and have them even praying for one another, as a result of saying, hey, God, what could you do to change the atmosphere? And of course he did. And we've really, really hosted that as an annual event through
So will
Alabaster
there be
House.
worship during the leadership event?
No, the leadership event is not necessarily an insular like Christian conference. So when you come, you're going to be seeing kind of more a high level executive feel. And so what you will experience is really the connections around the table, right? The opportunity to be inspired by other leaders. And so we are actually in the work environment. So we will be in the House of Representatives, right there in the middle of things going on. So we're not necessarily, I guess I want to answer this in a couple ways. I feel like God has really put this on my heart to be an opportunity to introduce people to a deeper relationship with the Lord. And that's more an end product that it is that something's presented up front. So hopefully that makes sense. I feel like it's really more an onboard to the gospel. So you could invite anyone to something
That's
like
awesome.
this and they can feel comfortable.
See,
And
and that's
then
awesome. I love that. I love that. That is so incredibly smart. Hey, give everybody the website one more time.
sure, alabasterhouse.org. And of course, you can click on our leadership summit there to get involved May 19th and 20th. If you can't come, maybe you want to participate and help and support some of our programs throughout the year. There's mission trips, there's retreats that we do, we host chapels, there's one-on-ones. There's just so many ways that you can get involved. And if you click on that give button at the top, that would be such an encouragement to supporting the program so that we can have a healthy faith for our leaders, a healthy family, and a healthy nation.
I love that. Kimberly, so great to see you again. It's too bad we only see each other a couple times a year, but I appreciate you so very much. Thanks for being with us this morning on the morning break.
Love it. Thanks so much, Rob. Look forward to seeing you again and appreciate.
Oh, sorry, I did that. That was my fault. It was me. Anyway, hey, check out their website. Links will be in the show notes so you too can find out more information. Great event coming up May 19th and 20th in DC. And just I love her heart. I love what she said. Just rang like in my spirit today. It was another great addition. Hey, listen, we appreciate each and every one of you who take the time to be with us here every day. Thanks to the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee for being our sponsor. 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10. Also, we've got the great folks at my-snackies.com. It's my-snackies.com. Hey, listen, go out. You've had your break. Kill the rest of the day. It's going to be awesome. This is the Morning Break.